Tired of your car insurance rate going up, even with a clean driving record? You're not alone. That's why there's Jerry, your proactive insurance assistant. Jerry compares rates side by side from over 50 top insurers and helps you switch with ease. Jerry even tracks market rates and alerts you when it's best to shop. No spam calls, no hidden fees. Drivers who save with Jerry could save over $1,300 a year. Switch with confidence. Download the Jerry app or visit jerry.ai/Libsyn today. That's JERRY.ai/LIBSYN.
We have the tech to get food delivered in 15 minutes, but we all have horror stories about buying tickets. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage. Get amazing tickets in just a few taps. Fees are included, so what you see is what you pay. And the Game Time guarantee means authentic tickets at the best price every time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets to concerts, sports, comedy, and more with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply.
Now, some people will say, "Well, what do I say? What should my channel be about?" Well, here's the thing. At the time, the job that I had was a security job, customer service at Bank of America. I could not make a channel about that, But if you're a professional, you can make a channel about being a professional. If you're a plumber or maybe a nurse or maybe you're a real estate agent or got some type of corporate job, or you you're in the finance, something like that, you can actually create a channel about all of that.
Sit back and relax and get ready for another exclusive episode of the Online Marketing Secrets Podcast with Lopez.
You don't have a content problem, you have a hook problem. Most videos don't fail because they're bad. They fail because nobody clicks. The title didn't hit, the idea didn't land, the hook didn't pull attention. And in today's world, if you don't get the click, you don't get the view. That's where YouTube Hook Genius comes in. Instantly generate high-converting video titles, hooks, and ideas designed to stop the scroll and drive clicks. No guessing, no burnout, just better ideas that actually get attention. Go to YouTubeHookGenius.com and start creating videos people actually click.
Welcome to another episode of the Online Marketing Secrets Podcast. I'm your host, Lopez. So like and share this episode. And today I'm going to talk about why you should start a YouTube channel, even if you have a job. And maybe I'm a little biased for saying this because I started a YouTube channel years ago when I had a job, and I had a full-time job. And I was working 50, 55 hours a week at a time. And I was getting paid every 2 weeks. And I was working downtown Charlotte at Bank of America at the time. I was working even on the weekends. I was working 7 days a week sometimes. Any day. It could be daytime, nighttime, third shift I was working. The schedule was crazy at the time. And at the time, I was working this job for 5 years at the time. And I graduated college and I was still working this job. And even I probably graduated like 2 years afterwards, and I'm still working this job. So I'm sitting there one day, I think I was in the break room, and I was like, when am I going to find my dream job? When am I going to find a job that pays as much as this job that I have right now, but especially the job that I went to school for? And it just never happened for me. Yeah, I had short-term jobs and contract jobs, but I never really had the job, the dream job, the job that, I went to school for. It just never worked out. So at some point, I got involved in the network marketing, direct sales at the time with a travel company, and ended up meeting a woman on my job, and she took me to a local meeting. And in this local meeting, there was a lot of people in there. There was some top earners. There's some people that were local, and then there were some people that came from out of town, and they showed us a presentation, and everybody had a different journey on basically how they accomplished and became successful in direct sales and everything. And I joined probably like 2 months later, but the things that they were telling me to do, it just didn't work for me, right? So I was like, okay, what else can I do besides what they told me? Because what they told me never worked for me, right? So something told me, maybe you should start a YouTube channel. Because I was always on YouTube as a person that's just watching other people do videos at the time. And you got to realize this is like 2009 when this is happening. 2009, 2010 when this is happening. This is before Google bought YouTube. At this time, YouTube back then, it wasn't like it is today. It was mostly a lot of college kids or people that were kind of working under the radar, so to speak. It wasn't like it is today. I'll tell you that much. It's a different crowd back then. People, if you told people you were on YouTube back then, they kind of thought you were scamming, had some type of scam going on, which wasn't true. There's no absolute. There's no 100% anything. But that's what people thought back then. So what happened is, I ended up going to a conference, and I met this woman at the conference, and I got to know her, and come to find out she had a YouTube channel at the time. So I told her, I said, hey, I'm thinking about starting a YouTube channel as well. And she said, you should. And then she said, I'll help you out. And I said, oh, okay, that's great. So when I got back home from the conference, of course, I kept in contact with her. I had her email address and phone number. And she sent me like a Word document of some stuff I need to do to get started on YouTube, step-by-step instructions, right? And I did what she told me to do. And it was okay in the beginning. I didn't get much views, because I'm new and I'm still learning everything. But I realized over time that she could only tell me what worked for her. And see, when it comes to YouTube, what worked for one person doesn't work for everybody. That's just what it is. There's so many different circumstances and things that happens. It depends on what type of channel, what your channel's about, depends on where you live, depends on your headline, depends on your thumbnail. There's so many things that go into starting a YouTube channel, and your camera, and why this video take off, and why, there's a lot of different scenarios that could come about on why things work the way they do on YouTube, right? But I always looked at it like, if I can't get the dream job that I want, I guess I'm gonna have to create one. So that's why I started a YouTube channel, because it just never happened for me. I could never find a job that would pay me enough money to live and have money to pay, have money left over for my bills. It just never happened. So I had an old guy tell me once, if you can't find your dream job, you're gonna have to create it, you know? And that's what I did, you know? And I did this while I was working a full-time job. Now, some people will say, well, what do I say? What should my channel be about? Well, here's the thing. At the time, the job that I had was a security job, customer service at Bank of America. I could not make a channel about that, you know? But if you're a professional, you can make a channel about being a professional. If you're a plumber or you know, maybe a nurse, or maybe you're a real estate agent, or got some type of corporate job, or you you're in the finance, something like that, you can actually create a channel about all of that stuff. Maybe you're a teacher, you can have a channel about all that stuff. I'm not saying you should do videos while you're at work. No, you can't do that in most cases. You can't. They don't allow it. But I'm saying, I created my videos when I was in my car driving on certain days, or I created videos while I was at home. And this is a time when cell phones didn't have cameras. So I bought a flip camera for like $100. And I would set my flip camera up at home or even in my car, and I would just shoot the video based on what I was feeling that day, what I was going through that day. I would just talk about my life experiences. And that's how my channel got started. My first channel got started. And my first channel was all about making more money. That's what it was all about. The whole channel was centered around just making more money. Period. Just in general. That's how I got started. And when I got started, I didn't know anything about headlines. I didn't know anything about thumbnails. I didn't know anything about writing. I didn't know anything about none of that stuff. All I knew is I had to get good at doing videos, and the rest I would figure out, and I would learn as I go. And the lady that gave me the little document outline, it was better than most. It wasn't perfect because, like I said, she was learning just like I was learning. But the only difference between her and me is I was new and she was doing it for like a year or two. So she just had more experience. But I always looked at it like this. If I can get good at doing YouTube videos and I can get attention, I can probably turn this and and create some type of my own opportunities. Instead of trying to look for opportunities, I can create my own opportunities, and at the same time, I can learn how to work the cameras. I can learn how to edit videos, edit pictures. I can get good at digital marketing, along the way, and I can become a better speaker. Maybe I can speak in public. Maybe I can speak in front of groups, and potentially earn money from doing a lot of this stuff. And I could document my journey and have a proof of concept, and I can show people that what I've been doing for the past 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, this actually works. And then I can show people, the trials and tribulations and all the tools that I created, along the way, and all the tools that I've used along the way. Like, for example, when it comes to doing headlines, today I use YouTube HookGenius.com. It's a software where it gives you 10, 15 headlines and hooks, and you can split test. So instead of sitting there trying to think of a good headline that could probably get picked up in the search engine so I can get views and clicks, no, I'll just search. I'll do a search within the software and spits it out within 3 seconds. You know, this saves me time and it won't wreck my brain. I've documented all of this over the past 15, 20 years on multiple channels. You know what I'm saying? But this can potentially create opportunities for myself. And this is how I was thinking 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I was thinking like this. And I have proof in video format that, hey, you know, this is what I did at such and such time. This is what I did when I had this problem, this issue with this and that, you know. And people, at the time I was in direct sales, so people would follow me. People would do what I did after I showed them how I did it and why I did it and the software I did it with. So I created opportunities out of the problems that I had personally, you know. So this is why I say everybody should at least try to start a YouTube channel. Now, sometimes it ain't gonna work for everybody. That's just reality. Some people ain't gonna want to commit, or some people might not be persistent enough, you know, because sometimes, you know, life happens sometimes. Sometimes some people fall off and they don't get back up. They got too much going on, and that's just life, right? But I didn't really have a lot of options back then. So this is all I had. And still to this day, this is all I have. I don't have a plan B. This is the plan B, you know? But some people might have more than one option. I didn't have it. And I still don't. This is why I'm still the same thing I'm doing today, the same thing I did back then. I'm starting YouTube channels today, just like I did 20 years ago. I'm still doing it today. You know? So, but you just never know the opportunities that might come about, because people have reached out to me and wanted me to come on their podcast, or wanted me to speak in front of somebody or a group, or wanted me to volunteer for kids and stuff like that. You just never know how things may progress or how things might come, how the opportunities might come about. Some people wanted me to consult with them, show me they needed help in certain situations. They needed help promoting their website. They needed help showing me how to edit their videos and stuff like that over the years. So you just never know the opportunities that might come about. You know, and the possibilities are endless. You know, and people are willing to pay you, you know, a fee to help them. You know, so I created these opportunities out of thin air, really. You know, and I've learned along the way new skills, new opportunities around, you know, and most people can do the same thing. But the key is you just can't give up, because while you're doing video, while you're learning, things are going to happen in your personal life. Kids might get sick. You might get sick. You might get laid off from your job. You might get fired. You know, things happen in all our lives. But you just got to commit and never give up. Yeah, you might have to adapt, make some changes. You know, you might have to take a little break, but just don't give up. See, I never gave up. That's why I got 4 books, because I never gave up. I kept going. I got 4 books, and I'm writing a 5th book, a kid's book, and that's coming out this year. I never gave up. I just kept going. I just kept moving forward, regardless of who was president, regardless of the economy, regardless if I had a job or not. I just kept going. I just kept moving forward, because regardless of what happens, I have to keep moving forward. Regardless of how much money I have in my pocket, I have to keep moving forward. Regardless of what's going on in my family, I have to keep moving forward. Yeah, it's okay to take a break. It's okay to adapt. It's okay to refocus. But I have to keep moving forward. If people pass away, yeah, I'll go to the funeral. I'll mourn. I'll be sad. I'll cry. I might even be depressed. But at some point, I got to get out of that funk. And I got to do what my parents would want me to do. And my parents would tell me, you got to keep moving forward. You got to keep moving forward, son. You got to keep moving forward. You can't never give up. Always keep fighting. And you got to keep moving forward. And that's one thing that's why I love the internet. The internet has awarded me opportunities that I've never thought it would have happened. And I never thought I would have been able to meet some of the people that I've met solely because of the internet in some type of way, But at the end of the day, regardless of what happens, regardless of who's president, wherever the country's at war with anybody, wherever what's going on in my family, wherever whatever the economy is doing, I got to keep moving forward. That's my philosophy. I got to keep moving forward. It's okay to mourn. It's okay to get upset. It's okay to be afraid, but I keep forward, because when you stay in motion, you just never know when you're going to get that major breakthrough. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, if you need any help with anything, when it comes to headlines, hooks, creating your videos, anything like that, just go to YouTubeHookGenius.com. Go there. You can start for free. And if it's trash, you don't like it, you can cancel at any time, And I'll be sure to put the link in the show notes. So like this episode, share this episode, tell me what you think. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.